and welcome back to the Rufus MDS channel. Today, we're going to be talking to musician Kitty Fitz. Kitty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. As you can see, the whole setup is a bit different today, but we're making do with what we got. So I'm really excited to talk to you. For anyone who doesn't know who you are, tell a bit about yourself.
so it's a bit of a jumble, but mainly I do my thing. I do like some production, writing songs, making like big sad pop bangers. And I'm also the bassist of a band called Prima Queen.
Mm.
And we make like indie rock music. So yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Prima Queen. I'm quite interested in that because I'd actually heard of Prima Queen before I'd heard your solo music. Tell us a bit
Oh,
about
nice.
tell us a bit about Prima Queen and how that came to be and what you guys do.
It's really nice story. It started off with the two front women, Kristen and Louise. They met and became like instantly best friends, instantly wanted to be in a band together. They started off kind of acoustic solo sort of thing, then had some band members, and then the kind of lineup kept changing a little bit. And luckily, the timing was that as I dropped out of uni to kind of just get on the road and do music, they were looking for a bassist, and I just got recommended to them. And then Heleth, the drummer, also same thing happened. So we just banded together, and we've been in the lineup we are for like 4 years now, which is really nice. So they're kind of like family at this
Mm.
point.
Well, yeah, well, obviously being in a band, which you said, like family, and doing your own solo stuff, after having the, I'm not going to say massive success, but Prima Queen have had songs that have gotten around. Being in a moderately successful band and then going on to do your own solo music, how has the experience in the band affected trying to find your own niche?
I think it's actually really helped. I remember when I first joined the band, I was just super into it because I'm a session bassist. So I was super into just playing the songs. I loved them. And it was only, I feel like the more I play with them, the more it inspires my own music because the amount of times I'll sit in a rehearsal and it's just a safe space. That's where I think the best creative ideas come. Like I get a lot of inspiration just from being around other musicians, even when I'm not being tasked to do something. Like just being in that atmosphere is really good and fueling. And any ideas that I ever had to try songs with them, I was like, wait, I could actually use that for something of mine, like any songwriting ideas. Because I don't really write with them. I kind of write my parts, but I don't write the songs. And I think a lot of my writing as well is about friendship and like it's like women, like sisterhood in a way. So
Mm.
I think it's all kind of really works for me. I don't know about anyone else who's like in a band and solo project, but I think they kind of feed off each other in a really nice way.
Mm. Well, yeah, because trying to work your way up in the industry, the the industry which is grueling anyway, like the industry is a mess, and you're doing it twice and as a woman. How has it been? Like, has it been? How hard has it been, really?
It's been really strange. I think like it's a good question. I've found often with like playing session based stuff, it's a bit of a double-edged sword because a lot of the time people are like, oh, we really want like a female bass player. Like that'd be really cool. But it's just like very performative.
Mm.
Whereas with Prima Queen, it's like, oh, they just want to feel a bass player because we're all women in that band and it's great. So I feel very supported in that aspect. But yeah, being doing what I'm doing like with me, it's funny because like I produce it all and I write it all
Oh.
and my partner like mixes the songs and the amount of times that people come up to me and they'll be like, oh, did he produce it? Like they just assume and I'm like, no. And it's annoying the amount of meetings I've had where there's been an assumption that I didn't produce it or whatever. So they're always really surprised. And they're like, oh God, if we'd known that, like we would have come to you a lot sooner. It's like, well, it's all on Spotify. It's all credited. So yeah, it's not ideal.
Mm.
But like you make your way through it and I guess it's more songwriting material.
Yeah. So I can imagine it's quite a supportive experience having an all women band where
Yeah.
you all kind of know what the deal is. But yeah,
Yeah.
the industry on all fronts really is a mess, and something that didn't help with that in the slightest was COVID-19.
Yeah.
How has, because I've been listening to some of your solo music, so quite a lot of it is from like a year ago, 2 years ago, but within the last 2 years. So obviously
Mhm.
within that time span, we've had the virus. So how has coronavirus impacted your writing, your releasing, your whole process?
Well, this is going to sound really weird, but I think when, like, I've been producing music since I was like 13 or 14. Obviously, never released it because I can admit it was like terrible looking back. But I really, enjoyed myself. But I think because I started playing as a session musician when I was like 18 or 17, and I just kept going with that, there wasn't ever the thought or the time for like, and I did a lot of like writing poetry that I didn't think could be songs and like trying, but I just never gave it even the light of day because I was like, I've got this other stuff. I should be grateful. I've got, this. And I remember literally just before lockdown, like I was doing a lot of touring, like 2019, I was on the road basically the whole year. And I remember being like, I should be really grateful for this. This is great. But every night I'd like look out onto the crowd and be like, oh, I wish these were my songs.
Mm.
Like I still enjoyed myself, but I was like, this is something I really want to do. And maybe one day I will. And the second lockdown hit, I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, this is the perfect time. There's no stakes. No one's expecting me to release music because I'm a bassist and I've never ever shown any interest. I've never even sung. I hadn't sung in front of anyone. I'd never like really recorded myself singing that I'd normally delete it.
Mm.
So I was like, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like I remember releasing Split Ends and I was like, I like it. I think my 4 friends are going to listen to it on Spotify. Like that was 100% how I felt. And it was just a cathartic song I wrote about how much I miss my friends in lockdown. And then people just really resonated with it and liked it.
Mm.
So I think weirdly, COVID benefited me. It sounds really awful, but
Mm.
just because it was a break, like I was really burnt out and it was a break to be like, okay, the world is literally ending around us. Like, what is the one thing I'd regret not doing? It's like that.
Mm. Well, yeah, creatively, well, obviously lockdown wasn't good, but creatively it was kind of for everyone just being locked in with yourself to an extent. So having
Mm.
a way to process your emotions in songs and it giving you that push clearly worked out in some ways. And now Split Ends is your top song on Spotify, isn't it?
Yeah, which is so weird how that happened.
But yeah, so writing songs in lockdown, kind of giving you the emotional push and the need for it. What is your songwriting process like in general? How do you write a song? Does it come from melody first, lyrics first? I'm really interested because everyone has it different.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a mix. I'm quite like, I don't know, spaced out person, like definitely dissociative. So weirdly, a lot of the time, because I'm such a workaholic, like I'll always be doing stuff. The second I stop, I'll often get like a fully formed song in my head, like lyrics, production, melody, like everything. Sometimes I'll like wake up and it will be there. I'll just be like in the shower and I'll have to like get out and do like a voice note and do the whole thing. So that was the same. That happened with Saving Face, like that. I didn't work on it, like it just happened and it just kept
Mm.
coming. But other ones, I'm like, I basically write every day, like every couple of days, just like a little something. Just I hear words or phrases or have feelings or like think of a rhyme. And I'll sometimes go back through them, like back through my phone notes and just find phrases that I like. And I'll be like, oh, I want to keep that. Let me like chunk it together with something else, find a chorus that I've recorded like pre-shower or whatever,
Yeah.
and like put them together that way. So that kind of happened with Rain Check. That was a lot of like chunks and then brought together.
Well, that is a positive of kind of one being in a lockdown and two only just starting out because you've
Mm,
not got a contract to write this many songs or you don't like while music is your job, it's not like it's not the writing songs isn't something that you have to do on time, so
mm.
really having the time to piece it together is great. And it also means
Yeah.
that you don't really have to put yourself into creative box, because if you've got all the push behind you, then you can't really experiment as much as you would. Because
I
maybe,
agree.
yeah, but putting yourself in a creative box, has it been hard trying to find a niche? Have you tried to find one? Because you said sad bops, which is so true. I've heard some of your music, like it's got some of it's got like an up tempo feel, but then you look at the lyrics and you go, oh, and like they're quite sad, but you can also have a little dance to them. How have you kind of found that combination fitting you? If that makes sense.
Um, yeah, it's a weird one. I think sometimes I'll write songs where I'm very much like, this is a bit too sad. Like I need to make it danceable because otherwise it'll be like a bit much. Um, but yeah, I guess it's been tricky to find a niche. I think it's almost nice not really doing anything massively new. Like there's a lot of bands that I very clearly take inspiration from. Like I love the Japanese house and stuff like that, and like New Order.
Mm.
Um, and those are random ones, like a lot of songwriting pulled from like I love like Sufjan Stevens and stuff like that. Like I think a lot of people are doing what I'm doing, but I guess I don't know, I like being very blunt lyric wise and making the lyrics a very big part of things. Because I think with a lot of alternative pop or like electronic music, there'll be like a vocal hook, which is or like it'll be quite vocoded out, which I'm definitely guilty of sometimes. But I think something that I do that people have said really connects with them is that they're dancing, but also the lyrics can be quite like funny or direct,
Yeah, yeah,
which is a bit
quite.
nerve-wracking, but I like doing that.
No, no bullshit. Just getting straight. This is what happened. This is how I'm feeling. But yeah, and
Mm,
it's great that you don't feel well, because yeah, it is comfortable to write in a certain style, and I think that is perfectly healthy. But it's also healthy to not try to go, oh no, I shouldn't be writing this because it's not me. But I think it's even funnier when everyone seems to be making music nowadays. Because with a
mm,
platform like TikTok, if you scroll through, like there's so many artists. Like BBC Sound 2021 was Pink Panthers, an artist
yeah.
who I hadn't heard of in December 2020 and had heard so much of in December 2021 purely because of TikTok. So what is it like, kind of growing as an artist, but in a space where it is so online?
It's really weird. I think I I weirdly kind of indulge in it because I've always been super online. Like it sounds bad, but I've always just been like a bit addicted to social media. Like back when I was like 16, I was really like on Tumblr. Like back when it used to be a big thing, like I was on Tumblr, and then every time a new social media craze has come out, I've just been like very, you
Very
know,
on it.
on it. And I think like it's definitely my ADHD is like, here we go, like delicious social media.
Let's do it.
So I love, I think I remember like a couple of years ago when I was like, oh, I don't want to do music anymore. It's too stressful. I remember being like, oh, I want to go into marketing because I really like engaging and interacting and doing stuff like that. So I think it's weirdly something that I quite like doing. Like I quite like TikTok. I quite like doing my promotion and finding like fun new ways to do that. But I do think it's really surreal how TikTok has like changed music because I know
Yeah,
there are a lot of labels who are like, we don't know what to do. Like no one's released, everyone's changed their formula for releasing because it's, someone could literally post something today and they'll be famous tomorrow.
yeah,
Like it's like real time X Factor vibes.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy, and yeah, everyone has so, because having all the control at your fingertips, and with kind of platforms like DistroKid, even AWOL, like people have newfound levels of control of how to do things, and
Mm,
people's like marketing ideas are getting so out there as well. Like I saw Girl in Red did this, had a bus that said Girl in Red
yeah.
on it, and she drove it around London. I've seen like just crazy stuff like that, which is amazing. But yeah, you're quite hands on with all elements of your music is really important, especially
Mm.
visually. Your music videos have quite, because I saw the music video for Saving Face. Fantastic video.
Oh,
How
thank you.
how are you how is it trying to develop a musical style and a visual style side by side? Because you can make a song and have like a very strong sense of the song, but then translating it visually can be very natural and easy, but also could take a bit of figuring out.
Mm. Yeah, it's tiring because sometimes I'm like, oh, I really love doing like everything, but often I'm like, God, I wish there was just like a babysitter who's like, now do this, because it's a bit like balancing plates. You're trying to be entertaining in every single way possible. But with like that video, it sounds really stupid, but that was when I finished that song, that was exactly just specifically what I wanted.
Mm.
Like I wanted the fox there, like I had the whole thing planned out. I
Yeah.
made like a storyboard of the car. Like it was such a hassle for everyone involved, like getting we like drove this car around London and like the camera almost fell off the car, like all these things. And I was like, no, but it has to be exactly this. But it is a bit of pressure now that I've done that video because I'm like, now I need to make all the videos
But
like that.
yeah, you said having it all fit the same style. It's the same with kind of music, feeling a pressure to fit yourself in a box. But also, there's so much. I think stylistically, artists are doing so much nowadays. Like with
Yes.
eras, like I think eras are such a big thing. Like
Mm,
with like you see I know someone like the 1975, they'll do like the black, then the pink, then the
yeah.
like they'll really double down stylistically on a certain on a certain style. So yeah, doing music videos is kind of like that. But no, saving face as long as you keep the creativity flowing, it's all it's all great.
Yeah,
But
no, I love an era. I love Charlie XCX. Oh my God.
oh,
She's so cool.
Charlie XCX is my current obsession.
Yeah.
um,
Oh, she's a legend.
Well, yeah, because it's an artist like her who you can tell she doesn't care what she does.
Mm,
'Cause like seeing her evolution is crazy. She had like Sucker. That's yeah, Sucker and True Romance and stuff like that. Very pop anthemic kind of songs, and then she went full hyperpop. Kind of became a
mm,
hyperpop pioneer. Like people credit her with the almost invention of that genre a lot of the time. Do it
yeah.
with How I'm Feeling Now, Charlie, Pop 2, Number One Angel, and now straight away she's just gone to Crash doing like she's just
I'm literally obsessed. I don't know how she does it. Like, it's
she's just
stamina, like creative stamina.
yeah.
Because I see a lot of people do the same thing for many years, like, well, but I think she's someone who constantly shocks and like surprises, which I think is just the goal
Yeah,
for
no,
me.
yeah. She just makes whatever she wants to makes, and that is revolutionary music wise. Like,
Mm,
how many artists do you see like just constantly changing their stuff up, not just for the sake of having a new era? But
mm,
Charlie, well, now she's at the end of a record deal, so now you see like the two roads for many artists that we see now. Do you go? Do you try to get a label, or do you go independent? Because there's
mm.
been a lot of messaging recently about like fuck big labels and everything,
Well, yeah,
which is
exactly.
which to an extent kind of valid. um,
Well, yeah. I mean, get the
like
coin.
just trying to buy up music, but then there's independent artists, and then like independent artists will be like, even though it is great, morally and everything, it's so hard being an independent artist.
Yeah,
So so there's a lot of, with music being so open and people wanting to make music more, you kind of feel like you have to make more decisions and have set goals in the future. But
yeah, for sure.
actually, goals wise, what are your goals in music? In like 10 years, 15 years, whenever, what will be the moment where you think I've made it, and also what is just a personal thing that you really want to do?
That's a good question. Um,
The last artist we had on said I want to win a Grammy, so dream big.
okay,
Anything,
okay.
you can do anything.
I'm thinking like Glastonbury vibes for me.
Mm.
That festival, because I used to go when I was like 6, and I remember being like, I'm going to be a musician when I'm older because this is cool and this is a job. And my dad was like, yeah, it's a job. Little did I know. Anyway, but yeah, that would be amazing. And then also lifetime wise, I mean, because I'm producing like all my own stuff. And I'm going to start producing for someone else soon as well. I think it would be amazing for something I produced for someone else to do really well, just because that's
Mm.
like a whole new challenge. That's like a different landscape. It's like working my ideas in with someone else's style and vision,
Mm.
like successfully. That would be like amazing for me, even just to like for a body of work to do well that I've produced for someone else.
Yeah.
Sounds like a small dream, but it's like I think it's quite significant.
Yeah. Well, the producing landscape is so different. Producers often don't get as much credit as they should because
Mm,
like if you look at how much they put into the song, it's mental. It's mental. But yeah, trying to remember what I said. So yeah, I've got goals. Yeah, yeah, Glastonbury. The lineup for Glastonbury this year.
I
Mate,
know.
I cried. I can't go. That's why I cried. I think I cried tears of joy seeing it, but then cried tears of
Mm,
sadness. Really, well, I'm not gonna be able to go to Glastonbury. But
yeah,
what are you going?
I'm not. I wish I was. RIP.
So, what a lineup. But yeah, so if those are your goals, what do you see the actual future? What things do you have planned? Things that are
And
that
near future.
you, anything? Do you have a body of work on the way? Anything that you can tell us?
Okay. Well, I can exclusively tell you that I've just finished a 4-track EP after working on the past year, which
Amazing.
again I've produced and written myself. It's gonna have like it's still very like poppy, but it's got a little bit more like guitar action. It's got some live drums in there. Like I went to the studio with it. And yeah, I'm super. I think it's the best stuff I've done. I mean, you'd hope that every time
Yeah.
you release something new, that it's the best you've done. But I'm really, really proud of it. Um, Currently just working out how I want to schedule it and release it. Um, yeah, I think I'll tie in a headline show with possibly like a single or the whole EP release. So
Have we?
stay tuned.
Nice. Have we heard any of the songs from it yet, or is it all new to us?
No, all new.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just not doing an era thing per se,
Mm,
but it's quite like a narrative driven
nice.
EP, I'd say.
Is it a concept EP?
Oh,
No,
God. I
yeah.
mean, concept being me being terrible at dating people. But like I think something to look forward to or not look forward to. The saddest song I've ever written, probably ever
Lord,
will, on that EP. I'm fine.
have you got any songs that aren't sad? Like I'm just
I
if they
mean,
if they're all sad and then this is the saddest, God, gotta prepare.
buckle up. But
Lord,
it's every gig I've played it at, someone's cried. And I always feel really bad
no.
because it's just like it's not the vibe I want to bring. Like I want to be like, you know,
Yeah.
808s. But that song, the amount of people who come up to me afterwards and be like, "Oh my god, I just broke up with someone, and that song like it was too much." I'm like,
Can't
sorry,
wait. Cannot wait.
it's gonna kill.
Yeah, well, yeah. Era wise, like releasing singles, there's so much like long rollout routes. I have a kind of love hate relationship with them because sometimes
Yeah.
artists will just release like 9 singles from a 14-track album, and it's like, what are you doing? Just uh,
Just give us the album.
but sometimes artists will have like a whole story be like really mysterious and just like so it can be it can be either way, but sometimes just putting it out there is amazing. So
Mm.
you said about crying listening to your saddest song. What do you want people to do listening to your music? What is the ideal, where do you want them to be? What do you want them to be doing?
I I'm when I kind of started releasing it, making it, my kind of goal was having people like driving, like or on the train and like processing stuff. And some of them I want people to dance to. Like I imagine like sweaty um house party vibes with like
Oh yeah.
just like your weird friends, just like doing a little bops to the sad music and being like, haha, this reminds me of your rubbish ex-boyfriend, that kind of vibe. Like I want people to connect over it, but dance to it, but also be cathartic. Because I think I've written a song that I've like teased it on my Instagram, I think, called Malibu, which is like it's very specific. I feel like my songs are so specific, but
I
the amount of times people have said, "Oh, that's everything you said," and that kind of made me realize where I'm at, and also made me feel like less of a bad person for feeling this way. So I want people to feel that because I've had a lot of songs in my life where they've made me feel better about the situation I'm in.
mm,
Like I think a huge album for me that did that. It wasn't even that long ago, but like Katie J. Pearson's last album
mm,
was super, like there were so many songs in the album and I was like, oh my god, this one actually touched my soul, like brought me back from a bad place. And I really want to do that. Even though it's poppy, I want it to still like help people, I
mm.
guess.
Yeah, writing songs specifically, I think is such a thing that we've been hearing a lot of recently, and it's so I'm obsessed with it. Like with songs like "All Too Well" by Taylor Swift, which
Yes.
obviously isn't a new song, but with the 10
Mm,
minute version, like it paints a whole story. There's a short film because it is real, and when you paint a picture, it's like you don't have to relate to it exactly. Like when you see a film of a breakup, and you've seen the whole story, like The Notebook, you might not relate to that exactly, but you'll still cry because the emotion is so detailed. So
yeah, yeah.
writing songs specifically, I just want that like full on poems, stories.
Mm,
Fan-
mm.
Fantastic, beautiful, great stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited for the EP now. But
Thank you, me
it's
too.
it's been great talking to you. So
Yeah,
before we head out, where can everyone find you?
by me. Like online wise.
Yeah, yeah. Not your
So
address.
yeah, I was like, oh no, I've meant like gig wise because I've got a gig coming up or a couple.
Oh, both. Yeah. Where can they find you online? And where can they find you gigs? Where can they see your stuff?
So I mean, online, all my like handles are Kitty Fitz D, and then Spotify Kitty Fitz. I'm quite active on the Instagram, the TikTok, making like really stupid feral TikToks. Don't watch them. And I'm doing a gig actually at the end of this month, the 28th, at the Cavendish Arms in Stockwell, which is like one of my favorite venues of all time. It's like Twin Peaks vibes.
Oh, okay.
It's really good,
In a good or a bad way?
amazing way. Half of
Okay.
it is like, looks like Twin Peaks, and then half of it is a dog themed bar.
Okay. That is very interesting. I'm intrigued. I'm
It's
intrigued.
very good. It's the best place ever. I recommend.
Well, yeah. So everyone, get following Kitty, get following me at Rufus MDS on everything. Gotta say that, and go make your way down to the Twin Peaks Dog Bar to see Kitty live. So it's been again great talking to you. Final
Thanks for
question.
having me.
No, it's completely fine. Why do you make music?
Catharsis. Just getting everything out, no matter how like funny or like bad or easy to judge it is. Just like therapy,
who,
basically.
who needs therapy when you've got a pen and paper?
It's expensive, you know?
Well, yeah. Fantastic message. Amazing. Thank you for coming on, and thank you everyone for watching. That's it. Subscribe, like if you liked, dislike if you didn't like. Beautiful. Thanks. Bye.